Incrementalism is such a powerful force, which is why one of the best practices I say to advisors, at a minimum, schedule a recurring meeting with yourself every day, same or once, sorry, 1 hour a week as a starting point, same time, same place, to tune out the world and work on yourself. And I mean, you could spend a lifetime just consuming direction on leadership and taking those little bite-sized pieces and then applying them in your community can just activate culture. It's just a powerful habit to adopt.
We could more than likely, we're preaching to the choir, and those that are listening in on this have already adopted an attribute of learning, right? They're one that wants to improve. And just to reinforce that, because was thinking, we're talking ancient philosophers here, but Archus, who said, I loved where he says, we don't rise to the level of our expectations. Rather, we fall to the level of our training. You can expect to have a well-run, a well-oiled, Swiss-watch type practice. But expectations versus training is the difference. If you trained and taught and educated the rest of your team on a clear why, with the underlying role and the importance of those roles are understood, it's all communicated. That training is what will get you to that next level, not the expectations.
I want to share one little episode where it really occurred to me the power of leadership. And this is so subtle. I was with a friend who is running a very substantial, incredibly prestigious and very impressive hotel property. I mean, a castle, incredible. And he was showing me around. And as he was showing me around, he took a couple of his staff members with me. And it occurred to me, he was going out of his way to sing their praises, like getting into specific episodes of things they had done. And they were beaming because that's, in front of somebody. And anyway, we're walking to an elevator and I'm not sure if this was a tactic but just before we got into the elevator, he reached down and picked up a little piece of lint off the carpet and put it in his pocket and didn't say a word. I got more on leadership in that little 90-second window in terms of actions, being gracious with team members and attention to detail. Very, very impressive. I don't know if you have any examples on leadership in your life. I'm sure you do.
Oh, countless. At First Trust Portfolios, it's a phenomenal company, one I've been with for 28 years. Not the least reason is because I understand the why that's been communicated from the top. Our leader, Jim Bowen, a friend, but an effective leader. And his leadership inspires those to perform their best, right? And what does a leader do? They get the most out of those that are following them. To get the most out of somebody is by example. I can remember one time, and this, I don't know if you ever hear this, but I can remember one time feeling a little down, a little overworked, maybe sitting on that one connection, waiting for the other delay before the flight's canceled in an overnight in some snowy city, as we all have had that have been the road work. So I was a little tired and I had talked to Jim. I said, man, I'm just exhausted. I got to go whatever city was next. And he said to me, I won't forget, he goes, hey, Chris, because I'd never ask you to do something that I wouldn't be willing to do myself. And I found out he had actually been to more cities that week than I had been to. And that was enough for me. Like, never brought it. I was years and years ago, never ever felt anything like I was overworked after that. Here's the thing that you mentioned that's important. And this is our, I would say, my first suggestion to those listening on leadership and getting the most of those that are on your team. That story that you shared about praising those employees as they were walking around, recognition sits just under self-actualization on Maslow's hierarchy of needs for motivating underlying behavior. So to motivate a behavior, and what did it cost that hotel magnate, right? To complement those that are that are alongside. Nothing, costs nothing. What did it do? Everything. And so if you haven't made it a habit to recognize those behaviors, because they get acknowledged enough for the balls that are dropped. A lot of attention is placed on that. But to recognize more and more of those behaviors, even in front of others, you will see a transition, a cultural shift within the practice, and a more embracing of the leader that's doling out that recognition.